welcome to this Facebook Live with Americans for Prosperity, Texas. My name is Mac Morris. I'm the Deputy State Director here in the state of Texas. I'm joined today by Kevin Brady, Congressman from the 8th District. He's done so much work on taxes, and we're going to have a great conversation today on the infrastructure bill. This boondoggle, they say it's bipartisan, but it's lots of taxing and spending. So Congressman Brady worked a lot leading the way on tax reform years ago that we benefit here in the district, the state, and the country. But tell us, Congressman, what's going on right now in Congress? We're seeing all this massive spending they want to do.
Yeah, this is a real worry, Mac. Thanks for having me. Americans for Prosperity is just a great organization, and they've been so, as conservatives, so in budget, fiscal hawks, so hugely helpful to us. So through all of Congress. So thank you for that. A lot should worry us right now, including here in Texas, because this White House and this Democrat Congress is pushing through trillions of new debt, trillions of new spending, trillions of tax hikes. In fact, Congress is going to start voting on that next week. So I think they're aiming to ram through trillions of new tax hikes that will reverse all the economic growth we saw from the Trump Republican tax cuts. But the infrastructure bill, as you know, passed the Senate. It's now in the House, but they're linking it to all these tax hikes and spending hikes. But the bill itself on infrastructure has some real flaws.
So we talk about those flaws. A lot of folks don't know. Senate passed something. They looked at $1 trillion in infrastructure spending, but now we're talking the House had a procedural vote to add $3.5 trillion extra in terms of human infrastructure. All these different projects, they don't have anything to do with our roads and our bridges.
No, they really don't. And somewhere between, depends how you estimate, between just 1/5 to maybe 1/4 of that bill is really true infrastructure. You and I think most Texans, for example, would support improving our roads and bridges, making sure our ports, our waterways, our water and sewer, broadband, for example, we've learned from COVID how crucial that. Those are really that hard, true infrastructure that makes up a small portion of that bill. The rest of it, I think, is hugely wasteful spending. A lot of the Green New Deal type of projects that are just ideological will drive up energy prices and make us less dependent on American-made energy and more dependent on Russia and foreign-made energy. And also, as you know, a ton of new green welfare subsidies, often for the wealthy. So I think too much of this bill, while it is better than the original Biden bill, which was insane, it is still has serious flaws, I think, for conservatives.
Well, for folks tuned in now, we've got Congressman Kevin Brady here. We're talking about the wasteful spending in this bipartisan, they call it bipartisan infrastructure bill. Now, folks, if you want to make your voice heard, if you go to stopthespendingspree.com, you can send a message to your congressman. You got a good congressman here in Kevin Brady, who's going to stand up for Texans. And, you know, we don't want any more taxes. We don't want this wasteful spending, but make sure your senators, make sure your congressmen hear about this across the state, across the country. Congressman, you know, I've been driving the state. I've been working with staff, working with legislators, activists, and just driving through. Lots of farmland, lots of ranching, because your community, you've got suburbs, but you've also got a lot of the rural areas too. And I've heard this is going to really take a shot at even folks in agriculture. And that's really bad to do right now.
Yeah, Mac, there is. So by the way, I have a great congressional district of, about 1.5 suburban counties and then about 8 rural counties, which I love. It's just a great partnership, but they're going after major tax increases on family-owned farms and businesses. They want to create a supercharged second death tax that lands on a family-owned farm. For example, when you want to pass that down to your children, now, even though you haven't sold the farm, you don't have any extra money, it's gain value over your lifetime. They want, in essence, Democrats want you to have to sell that farm or that business to pay taxes before you can pass it down to your kids, which means you're not going to pass it down to your kids. And that, they call it repealing stepped up basis. it's a second death tax. And it is the number one issue, I think, in rural America right now, certainly in Texas.